Good morning. Welcome to News for Hearing Impaired. I am Anil Thomas. With me, Manisha, this morning. First up, the headlines. AIIMS Delhi to begin today human clinical trials of the indigenously developed COVID-19 vaccine Covaxin. 100 volunteers between 18 and 55 years of age to take part in the trials. India's COVID-19 case fatality rate drops further to 2.49%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaks to chief ministers of 7 states, takes stock of the COVID-19 and flood situations, assures all support to the states. Flood situation continues to improve in Assam. Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal assesses the on-ground flood situation, while flood situation in Bihar remains grim in 8 most affected districts. Major rivers still flowing above the danger mark at many places. Rajasthan High Court to resume hearing on the Speaker's notice against the Sachin pilot camp today. Decision over Speaker's action against rebel MLAs likely. Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot claims support of 109 MLAs. BJP says it has been unnecessarily dragged into the matter. Coronavirus cases continue to rise globally. More than 1,44 lakh cases reported. Death toll crosses 6,04,000 mark. Nigerian Foreign Minister tests positive for COVID-19. In sports, Chelsea beat Manchester United 3-1 to reach the FA Cup final. Will meet Arsenal in the summit clash on 1st of August. An England race against time to draw level in the second test against West Indies at Old Trafford. Hosts bowl out visitors Windies for 287 runs in the first innings. And now for the stories in detail. The battle against COVID-19 pandemic has reached a crucial stage in India as the human trials of Indian vaccine is underway. The All India Institute of Medical Sciences will begin conducting human clinical trials of the indigenously developed COVID-19 vaccine candidate Covaxin from today. 100 volunteers between 18 to 55 years of age will be part of the crucial trials. Healthy participants with no comorbidities and without a history of COVID-19 will be selected. People only from Delhi, NCR will be able to take part in the trial. Corona as well as liver test will be undertaken before the trial and 2 doses of vaccine will be given. There will be a gap of 2 weeks between both the doses. The vaccine will be administered through injection. Corona as well as liver test will be undertaken before the trial. The emphasis, however, remains on safety and screening, with ICMR scientists keeping a constant vigil on the matter. People can register to become volunteers by dialing the number 074-288-47499 or mail at ctaims.covid19@gmail.com. 2 vaccines developed in India were given approval for human trials by the DGCI. Union Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has said that with this, the fight against COVID has entered a decisive phase. The focused efforts of centre and state along with union territory governments on efficient clinical management of hospitalized cases have ensured that India's case fatality rate has fallen below 2.5%. Credit goes to the effective containment strategy, aggressive testing and standardized clinical management protocols based on holistic standard of care procedures. CFR currently stands at 2.49%. India has one of the lowest fatality rates in the world. Both testing and hospital infrastructure has been ramped up across the country. Many states have conducted the population surveys to map and identify the vulnerable population. Along with this, various technological solutions have ensured keeping the high-risk population under continuous observation. At the ground level, frontline health workers like ASHA and ANMs have done a commendable job of managing the migrant population and to enhance awareness at the community level. As a result, there are 29 states and union territories with CFR lower than India average. 5 states and union territories have a CFR of 0. 14 states and union territories have a CFR of less than 1%. This shows commendable work done by public health apparatus of the country. Let's now take a look at the worst affected states from COVID-19 in the country. Maharashtra with 9,518 COVID-19 cases recorded on Sunday. This is the highest spike in a single day so far in this western state. Maharashtra's tally has already breached the 3 lakh mark on Sunday. The state of Maharashtra has so far reported 3,10,455 cases. Further, 258 deaths were reported in the past 24 hours. A total of 3,906 patients were discharged on Sunday. Meanwhile, the state chief minister Uddhav Thackeray has reiterated that religious, social and political gatherings will remain prohibited in the state in the view of the rising infections in view of Eid and Ganesh Chaturthi. Addressing collectors and municipal commissioners via a virtual meeting, Uddhav Thackeray called for a replication of the Dharavi model at other places in the state to control the COVID-19 outbreak. In Tamil Nadu, a record 4,979 persons tested positive for COVID-19 on Sunday. Besides 78 deaths and 4,059 patients also recovered in the past 24 hours. The total number of cases in Tamil Nadu stand at 1,70,693 so far. In Delhi, 1,211 new positive cases and 31 deaths were reported on Sunday. 1,860 patients recovered in the national capital in the last 24 hours, and the total number of positive cases now stand at 1,22,793. Various states are taking tough measures to increase the recovery rate as well as to stop the spread of the pandemic. Jammu district authorities has announced a complete weekend lockdown beginning from July 24 to prevent the spread of COVID-19 cases that has witnessed a spike over the past week. District Development Commissioner ordered lockdown from 6 p.m. on all Fridays till 6 a.m. on all Mondays beginning from July 24th. There shall be complete restriction on movement of individuals, vehicles and all activities within the entire jurisdiction of District Jammu except the movement for emergency medical requirements. Meanwhile, J&K Lieutenant Governor Girish Chandra Murmu has appealed to the people to take all precautionary measures and follow the SOPs issued by the government to prevent the transmission of the upsurge in the COVID-19 pandemic cases. In Goa, the government has decided to continue lockdown for the Mormua Taluka till 6 a.m. of July 24th for the containment of COVID-19. Rest of Goa will follow the night curfew till August 10th except for containment zones which are governed by the orders issued by the collector. In Arunachal Pradesh, a total 8 residential buildings including a prayer center of Itanagar capital region have been identified and declared as containment zone. Further, state government has decided to provide 2 basic life-saving ambulances and 1 advanced life-saving ambulance to all 26 districts of the state. Arunachal Pradesh government on Sunday extended lockdown in the Itanagar capital region till August 3rd to break the chain of local transmission of COVID-19. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday spoke to the chief ministers of 7 states to take stock of the flood situation and also the management of the COVID-19 situation in their respective states. Assam and Bihar have been among the worst affected due to floods in the current monsoon season. In a tweet, Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal said, and I quote, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took stock of the contemporary situation regarding Assam floods, COVID-19 and the Baghjan oil well fire scenario over phone this morning. Expressing his concern and solidarity with the people, the Prime Minister assured all support to the state. Besides Sonowal, the Prime Minister had telephonic conversation with Chief Ministers of Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. The Prime Minister discussed state-specific concerns with the Chief Ministers. The flood scenario in Assam remains somewhat unchanged, although the water level receded further in some rivers of Assam in the past 24 hours. 5 more people have lost their lives in the last 24 hours and the death toll in the state has now gone up to 84. With 26 deaths due to landslide this year, the death toll due to floods and landslide has now reached 110. As on date, 2,400 villages under 70 revenue circles in 24 districts are reeling under flood waters. Worst affected districts are Golpara, Barpeta, Morigaon and Dhubri. Rivers at various places of at least 8 districts are above the danger mark and more than 1,12,000 hectares of cropland are submerged. There are 301 relief camps operating across the state, sheltering above 50,000 people. Chief Minister of Assam on Sunday assessed the on-ground flood situation and met the affected people in Morigaon district. During the visit, Chief Minister Sonowal thanked Prime Minister Modi for constituting a high-level committee under Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog to find lasting solutions of flood and erosion problems in Assam.
Very strong initiative to constitute a committee under the leadership of the Vice Chairman Niti Aayog and also the members from all the state of Northeastern state area, and this particular committee has been entrusted the responsibility to prepare a detailed project report to find out the lasting solution of the flood and erosion and also landslide problem of Assam and Northeast.
Meanwhile, the Regional Meteorological Center in Guwahati has predicted widespread rainfall over northeastern India, which is likely to have an impact on the overall flood scenario there.
Monsoon trough at mean sea level passes through Ganganagar, Rohtak, Fursatganj, Patna and thence towards the foothills of the Himalayas. And also there is convergence of moist southerly southwesterly winds from Bay of Bengal over northeast is taking place at lower tropospheric levels. Due to these meteorological conditions, we are expecting a widespread rainfall with isolated heavy to very heavy falls is very likely over northeastern India during 19th to 23rd July.
The flood situation in Bihar remains critical in 8 most affected districts as major rivers are still flowing above the danger mark at many places. In Sitamarhi, the river Bagmati and Adwara are flowing above the danger mark. Buri Gandak is above the danger mark in Samastipur, while Kamla Balan is flowing above the danger mark in Madhubani. The river Mahananda is flowing above the red mark in Purnia. Meanwhile, the number of inundated Gram Panchayats in the state has escalated to 153, with nearly 3 lakh people affected with floods. Over 12,000 people have so far been shifted to safer places, while around 3,000 people are living in 7 relief camps. No loss of life has been reported so far due to floods, but as many as 8 persons have lost their lives in lightning strike incidents in different districts of Bihar in the past 24 hours. As many as 120 people have lost their lives in lightning incidents in Bihar this year. The Met Office has predicted heavy rainfall in certain districts of Simachal and northeastern Bihar during the next 48 hours. In Uttarakhand, water level increased in the Gori river due to incessant rainfall in Munshiari Tehsil of the Pithoragarh district. Pithoragarh DM said all affected families have been shifted to a safer place and will be provided compensation. Local administration said that efforts are being made to restore the movement on roads which are damaged. The Met Department has issued an orange category warning for Uttarakhand for today and tomorrow. An orange category warning indicates that disaster management and local authorities should prepare for disaster control. Moving to Rajasthan, the 10-day-long political drama in Rajasthan is expected to reach the climax today. Rajasthan High Court would resume hearing on the Speaker's notice against the Sachin Pilot's camp, which is 19 in number. The court's ruling is likely to decide the Speaker's action against rebel MLAs and also pave way for a special session of Rajasthan Assembly. Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has been claiming he has the support of 109 MLAs, enough to prove his party's majority in the House. Rajasthan leader of opposition GC Kataria has clearly said that BJP has never demanded floor test and not even demanding one now. He added that the party will take a decision as and when required. He added that BJP is being unnecessarily dragged into this matter. In reference to a news report published in the media that JEE Advanced 2020 could see some changes in the examination pattern, the organization Institute IIT Delhi has clarified that there will be no plans and there are no plans to change the syllabus of the entrance examination. It further added that there is no plan to discuss this matter in the next Joint Admission Board meeting. As of now, JEE Advanced 2020 is scheduled to be held on September 27th this year. The Indian American community staged a protest outside the Chinese embassy in Washington against Beijing's perpetrating acts of aggression to dominate the region. Indian American community urged global powers, including the United States as well as India, to economically decouple from the Asian giant. Demonstrators wearing masks as a precautionary measure amid the coronavirus outbreak held placards. The protesters also focused on the issue of Hong Kong and Vietnam as well as other areas including the South China Sea, where Beijing is asserting its territorial claims despite criticism from Washington and other global powers. A quick look at the global updates on COVID-19. The coronavirus has now claimed the lives of over 6,05,000 people worldwide, while 1,44 lakh people have contracted the infection. United States and Brazil remain the worst affected in terms of COVID-19 infections and fatalities. US has so far recorded 37,63,000 cases and over 1,40,000 deaths. Brazil has crossed the 20 lakh mark when it comes to infections, with 20 lakh.98 infections and over 79,488 deaths. Talking of death toll worldwide, US and Brazil are followed by UK with 45,385 fatalities, further followed by Mexico, Italy and France. With more than 1,40,000 deaths, the infection graph continues to rise in 43 out of the 50 US states. The country is losing approximately 5,000 people every week. In the hardest hit US states and counties, places to store bodies are difficult to find as morgues are filled up. For instance, Phoenix is bringing in 14 coolers to hold up to 280 bodies and more than double morgue capacity ahead of an expected surge in COVID-19 fatalities. Most US states and local governments have asked people to wear masks in public places to stop the spread of COVID-19. 39 states have issued orders in different forms requiring people to wear masks, while 11 states are still having disputes over the issue. Brazil President Jair Bolsonaro ventured out of his official residence on Sunday to speak and greet his supporters as he recovers from COVID-19 infection. Bolsonaro, who announced he tested positive for COVID-19 on July 7th, stepped out onto the grounds of his official residence and walked towards a group of supporters and spoke with them for around an hour. The total cases in Brazil, the world's second most affected country after the United States, has now risen to over 20 lakhs, while the death toll stands at 79,488. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has likened the imposition of a second nationwide COVID-19 lockdown to a nuclear deterrent that he would rather not use. In an interview with an English daily to mark his 1 year at 10 Downing Street, Boris Johnson said he did not think that UK would need another complete shutdown in the event of a second wave of COVID-19 infections. Britain has been coming out of lockdown in phases, with the United Kingdom Prime Minister issuing a back-to-work call as he handed local councils greater powers to impose localized shutdowns earlier this week. Nigerian Foreign Minister has said he had tested positive for COVID-19 and became the first member of President Muhammadu Buhari's cabinet to contract COVID-19. The Foreign Minister said on Twitter he had taken a COVID-19 test due to a throat irritation. Buhari's cabinet has been conducting Executive Council meetings virtually as part of measures to keep the government working while abiding by social distancing rules. The government started a phased easing of lockdowns in May after implementing measures to slow the spread of virus, which has killed 778 people in Nigeria and infected more than 36,000. On to sports, an explosive spell by Stuart Broad on the fourth evening kept alive England's hopes of winning the second test against West Indies at Old Trafford. After Saturday's washout at the stadium on the third day of action. England awoke on Sunday morning needing to take 19 wickets in 2 days. All eyes will turn to England's declaration and whether they find themselves enough time to take the second new ball late on the final day if needed. England's overall lead now stands at 219. Chelsea, meanwhile, will play Arsenal in the All-England FA Cup final after beating Manchester United 3-1 at Wembley on Sunday, aided by David De Gea's shocking errors behind the bar to give goals to Oliver Giroud and Mason Mount on either side of half-time. The Spanish international, drafted into the United team in place of Sergio Romero, endured a nightmare evening in the semi-final. His first mistake came in the 11th minute of first half injury time as he allowed Oliver Giroud's flick to beat him at the near post to put Chelsea 1-0 ahead. Chelsea will now play Arsenal on the 1st of August in the FA Cup final. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of news. Thanks for watching, but do take good care of yourself. Bye for now.